Hello and welcome into another edition of Sitting Down with Scar. I'm the football voice of the Hoyas, Jeremy Huber, joined by Georgetown head football coach Rob Scarlatta. Rob, thank you again for joining us this week.
Jeremy, great to see you.
Coach, coming off a tough one, a loss against Colgate where really kind of things got against you early on in the contest. Never could quite get back to equal footing. Let's start right there. How much do you think that early pick six on kind of just a busted, a tough play affect your team?
I'll be honest with you. I think the kids reacted pretty well. We traded big plays in the first half. We had a 3rd and 15 that, TK found Nick Dunman up the sideline for a long touchdown on a blown coverage. So, to be honest with you, you never want to start out that way. We got 1 first down and then had a miscommunication on an option route and threw a pick for a touch. But all in all, I think the kids reacted well to that initially and got their footing back pretty quick offensively. Colgate was able to come out, after, having our defense on the bench for about 10 out of 15 minutes in the first quarter and came out and ran some tempo. That gave us some trouble in the first quarter. So, once we got into the beginning of the second quarter on both sides, I think we settled in a little bit, but absolutely was not the way we wanted to start the game.
Coach, you mentioned Nick Dunman, that big play, part of a huge game for him. 15 catches for 205 yards, I believe 4th all time in a single game for a Georgetown player. What was he able to do to make such a big impact in that game?
Yeah, he's a competitor. I think he's got a great rhythm now with TK. He's our go-to guy. And, from day one when he's walked on campus, he's been our punt returner and is a guy that just comes to work every day. And, honestly, I've seen him get better within our system, from getting here in June in the summer until now. So, he's one of those guys. It's a pleasure to coach. He comes out every day. He's the same person, great attitude and a competitor, able to reset when he makes a mistake, which I think is a big deal. And, is one of those people that's, driven our success on offense throughout the whole year.
Coach, let's stay with the passing game. Tyler Knopp, I believe, set another career high in passing yards, over 350 in the game. He did throw 57 passes, which was something you guys were not near early in the season. Was that because of the way the game went or more because of some of the issues you guys knew you had to throw the ball more?
Anytime that you're down, the end of the second quarter for us was absolutely not what you want to do in the middle 8. We had a chance on 3rd and 5 and 4th and 5 to convert, to cut it to 1 score, and we turn around with 2 minutes and 5 seconds left and give up a drive for a touchdown to end the half. So, for us, that was give Colgate a lot of credit. They closed in the first half and got it to 28 for them. We also assisted that drive with 1 aggressive penalty and 2 other ones that we wish we had back. So, going into halftime, we really gave some momentum away. And then, opening the second half, it's what you want to do. Defense came out and held them to 3 and out, and offense kept moving the football. So, for us, I think there's some critical mistakes that we can get cleaned up this week. If you look at the stat sheet overall, we were plus 200 in total yards. We were around 40 to 20 in the time of possession, and we were trailing most of the game, and that caused us to have to throw the ball quite a bit towards the end. So, a lot of things that we're looking to clean up. The stats really don't tell the story of the game because the scoreboard didn't finish up the way that we wanted it to. When you look at the game overall, I was really impressed just with the way this team continues to find ways to come back. We had a chance to cut it to 1 score right at the end, and I'll take the effort we put in. We just have to play a lot smarter this weekend against Lafayette.
One more offensive question before we get to the defense, Coach. Josh Stakely, another good game for him, doing it in multiple ways as he runs for 50 yards, has 60 yards receiving. When did the staff know that he could be this type of a weapon?
We've known it for a while, because we have to go against our players all the time, especially, with what Coach Spence can do, putting Josh in great positions. So, when you look at all the national lists and rushing, Josh has been splitting some carries with Naeem, who's playing really well. So between those 2 guys, I think it's a great combination, and it's great to see Josh have an impact on these games, both running the ball and being a threat when we split them out. Sometimes you put the running back out there and empty in some of these sets and people discount them. You really can't do that with Josh. So he's done a great job this week, in practice in both aspects. And, my opinion is he's going to continue to have these games throughout the season.
Coach, let's move over to the defense. As you kind of stated, Colgate got some things going in the first half. They lose their quarterback. Really, second half, you guys hold them in check. Big part of that was David Ely, a big game for him, the guy they call Pop. Again, where are you seeing the most improvement from him as he's come down to play that linebacker spot this year?
Yeah, I mean, anytime that you move in and down, you're getting better as a football team. And Pop's got one speed. He's full speed all the time. So, you really look at it, he's only had a handful of games at the position, and he's starting to get a really good feel of how to play at the second level. So, again, he's another guy that's all effort all the time. And I think, it will show as we keep going that he's just going to keep getting better and better as he learns the position. So, anytime that you can hold somebody to 50 yards in the second half, come out with a bunch of stops, put us in a position to win the game, that's what we ask for our defense. So, have to get able to start faster, get a couple stops early in the game, and replicate what we did in the second half this weekend coming up.
Coach, one other defensive guy I wanted to highlight, Ivory Harrell had another big game. He's maybe one of your most explosive guys on the defensive front. 2 tackles for loss, a sack, a forced fumble, almost had another one. When you look at what he's doing, are there ways you guys can get more chances for him to make those impact-type plays?
Yeah, Coach Doherty's done a good job of having him in our 4-down front. He plays, off the ball in our hybrid front, and just trying to get him matched up one-on-one. Is really the mission for us this week coming up. So again, another guy that comes out to practice every day and is super excited to be on the field, whether it's practice or a game. So, both Pop and Ivory have done a great job leading our defense along with Mateen up front. So we're going to need their presence this week, as we go up against a pretty good rushing attack from Lafayette.
And it's a perfect segue, Coach. You're becoming a pro at this stuff, helping out here. A Lafayette team that I think, honestly, a lot of people early in the season said, look, Georgetown always plays them tough. This is a good chance for a win. Then they go up and beat Holy Cross last week. And I don't know if anyone really saw that coming, though they haven't had a great season. Kind of give me your thoughts on a team that you guys know well and have played well, but looks like they are a very good version of themselves this year.
Yeah, I give Coach Troxel a lot of credit. John was there at Lafayette before and then did a great job at Franklin and Marshall as the head coach. This is his second full season with his staff, and they have a good football team. We saw it early. We have some crossover film with them with common opponents. Their one loss is at Duke, which, to be honest with you, they played pretty well there also. So they've been able to stay healthy throughout the year and went up to Holy Cross and got up on them early and really played well in some adverse conditions, really threw the ball well on a wet field in the rain. So, we always have great games with Lafayette, whether it's out there or if it's here at Cooper. So really looking forward to the challenge this weekend. It's going to be exciting. Kids are very, 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 very eager to get back out on the field after last week. So it's been a good week of practice. And, to answer your question, instead of a long answer, I'm not surprised that they're doing this well. In the Patriot League, I think if you can stay healthy and your kids play hard, you have a chance in every game. And if you look across the scores, throughout the conference, I'm never surprised when you get off the field from hopefully winning here at Cooper and seeing what the other teams have done in crossover. It doesn't surprise me.
Coach, real quick, keys to this one, I assume stopping their pretty good running game or at least slowing it down with Curtis, their great back, is key among them.
Yeah, you would say that. And then if you look early in the game against Holy Cross, they threw the ball extremely well. So, they're not going to hurt themselves. They're one of the best teams in the country in the turnover ratio. I think they've only turned it over 3 times with no fumbles. So that's something that we're going to have to do. We're going to have to match their intensity coming out early in the game. And, we've talked about it all year. The 2 things we've keyed on is being able to run the football and being able to stop the run. And that won't change this weekend.
Well, now time for our Sitting Down with Scar Spotlight. We bring on the man of the hour from this weekend's matchup. It's wide receiver Nick Dunneman. Nick, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Nick, again, a big game for you, and I know you're such a competitor. I know the loss definitely stung, but at some point, did you kind of, once that went by a little bit and you had a chance to think about the game, was there any type of feeling of validation from you to say, look, this was really me showing what I can do in a football game?
Yeah. The loss, of course, hurts, but, I went out there, played the best I can, and I was just, kind of proving to myself on a personal level that I'll be able to play on this level.
And again, you did with the 200 yards in that contest. Gar, let me jump back to you. What made you and your staff believe that Nick could be this type of player at the D1 level? I know he had some interest from D1s coming out of school, but you're playing at D3. Sometimes you can't figure out for sure if that transition can be made. What made you guys pretty positive he could do it?
There's great talent at every level. There's some great players that are playing in Division III, and the number one thing, I can still remember this from Nick's visit, was, he's got that competitive deal to him. He's confident without being arrogant. And he's one of those guys that, when you're coming off a season when you have Josh Tomas play for you in the slot, everybody's going to make those comparisons. And I'll tell you pretty quick in the summer, it was apparent that he had both things, very technically skilled and absolute competitor. So those are two things, we're looking for guys that can learn and that love the game. And he fit both those things right away and has come in, competed every day, not taking anything for granted, which I think is huge, and has improved our football team, in the locker room especially, and on the football field. So we're really blessed to have him with us.
Nick, back to you. I know in our conversation earlier in the year, some of that interest coming out of high school, I believe Lafayette, Lehigh, in that, kind of ironic. We have you on the show this week. What made you want to pursue the D1 dream again after being at Union at the D3 level?
Yeah, I just felt like I could play on this higher level, like a Division I level after the D3 level. And, coming out of high school, I did have those D1 interests, so I just wanted to pursue that.
And I know that Coach said, D3 guys can play. There's a lot of good football down there. Who were your coaches down there? Who are some of those guys that really kind of helped you get your skills going so this was a viable dream again?
Definitely Coach Berman, head coach at Union. Great guy. I love him to death, even to this day. But he was probably one of the main coaches for me that really got this going for me.
Nick, you've obviously developed a rapport with Tyler Knopp, have a big game this weekend. How have you been able to build that with TK?
It started really in the summer for me. He reached out to me, gave me a call, let me know. He let me know, we're going to do this year. As soon as I committed, he reached out, and then ever since I've gone on campus, we've just been working every day, just getting better every day. So it's just grown to see it grow like this. It's been great. He's a great guy, great leader, all of that.
Coach Scarlotta, I've been, working with the baseball program, and Coach Edwin Thompson, he's had a lot of D3 guys come up and be contributors. Did you feel that a little bit with Nick, that Nick came in and there was that attitude of, hey, I'm here to prove just how good I can be?
Yeah, I'm making these comments about him now to be really nice and kind of motivate him to get going. But yeah, we put him on that broadcast today because we are playing Lafayette. For me, I think you are who you are, and the way you do anything is the way you do everything. It's a statement that we have around here all the time, and we are looking for guys who are trying to prove something. We are in a build here with our culture and what the expectation is. And, to have a winning program, win the Patriot League, and do all those things. So I want to surround myself with players that believe that and live that, eat it, breathe it every day. And that's what Nick has brought to our program. And, it's been one of the more competitive practices, just overall, because he's in there. And it's shown on the field when we get in the game. So, as long as we have competitors here and guys that work hard at it, we'll have success.
Nick, last one for you. You've worked under wide receivers coach, passing game coordinator Steve Thames. Again, he is a competitor. You can see that when he's coaching on game day. How has he made you a better player?
Oh, yeah, he's a super competitor, and he's kind of just installed that in me, to go out there and prove to everyone else, that everything can be done. And I really get it from him. His competitive nature, rubs off on our whole team, truly, especially the receivers, too. Just great. He's a great guy.
And following that one up, I know that's got to be a competitive receivers room. Some of the guys in there, Brock Beestick, Cam Pygott, does it get competitive when you guys are doing drills? Anything you can? Does it get that way?
Oh, yeah, of course. I always push them guys to compete with me. I want them to go hard with me so that for when the game comes, it's easy to us, or just compete every day. That's kind of our motto in the receiver room.
Well, you did it in a grand fashion on Saturday, getting some Patriot League honorable mention honors, a 200-yard day. Nick Duneman, thank you so much. Congratulations and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
That's Nick Duneman. And, of course, head coach Rob Scarlatta. Coach, good luck on Saturday against Lafayette.
Thanks very much, Jeremy.
That'll wrap it up for another edition of Sitting Down with Scar. Remember, Georgetown back on the Hilltop for Senior Day this weekend against Lafayette, 12:30 Eastern kickoff. See it in person if you're in the nation's capital or watch online at ESPN+. Thanks to Coach Scarlatta, our guest, Hoya receiver Nick Duneman, and producer Eliza Kravitz. That's all for this edition of Sitting Down with Scar. I'm Jeremy Huber, Hoya Saxa.